Oh, here we are. I'm gonna try this shit with some shades on. See how I like it. Uh, so I did a little crash out video last week where I got on here for like 4 fucking minutes, and I don't know. I didn't have shit to talk about. Some days I'm just not feeling it. You know what I mean? Like some days I'm just like, it's like I want to talk and bitch and moan, and other days you just don't have it. You just don't have it. Just be like fucking retarded or something. I don't know. But I guess as the title says, we're going to talk about some nicotine. So I used to talk shit, to people who had nicotine addictions and shit like that, and then I started using a lot of like lozenges, nicotine lozenges, and my whole family got sick. Like everybody got sick in the house, and I didn't get sick at all. And I think it was because of the nicotine. So that's kind of what I was trying it for. It was like you hear these different studies. They're like, oh, nicotine will prevent this. It'll help protect against this, and so I was like, let me try it out. And I used to because I quit cigarettes a few times in my life. Let's see, the first time I really quit was I have quit a couple times. So I went to jail. That stopped at one time, and then I went. When I very first started tattooing, I took some ecstasy or some shit at somebody's house. Like the guy that taught me how to tattoo, and we were like his whole fucking family was like his whole house was a party family house type thing. Like they were all just partying over there all the time. And I remember nobody wanted to go to the store to get me cigarettes, and so I just sat there that whole night without a cigarette. And I was like, well, fuck, if I can do this, then I can fucking do anything. Like if I could be on ecstasy and not need a cigarette, then I can definitely quit fucking smoking cigarettes. So I quit. I mean, I don't remember why. I think I started dating a girl that smoked. So I started smoking again. And every time I started smoking again, I was like, what the fuck am I doing, dude? Like, it's fucking retarded. Like, because it tastes like shit. You take that first fucking inhale and you're just like, oh my God. But you just keep going for some fucking reason. Makes no sense, right? And so I started up again, and then now I owned my own tattoo shop at this point. And the people that worked for me would smoke cigarettes, and we would smoke weed, and I would smoke a cigarette afterwards, and I would just feel like I was fucking dying. Like I just felt like my lungs were fucking done. And so that wasn't really the reason I quit, but the reason I quit that time was they had we had a little party or something. We used to party all the time after work at the shop. We just have people that we knew hang out with us after work, and we would smoke weed in the shop, and stuff like that. It was like one of my older studios, so we don't do that shit in this one. And we don't even really do any of that shit anymore. We don't have any fun. We just work, work, work. And so anyway, so we had a bunch of people over, and I remember we were passing a blunt around, and they were all doing something, paying attention to each other. And I remember I was just sitting in the chair. I don't remember if someone was sitting next to me or not, but we put all these chairs in a big circle. And I had this fucking drink, like a styrofoam cup, and I picked it up, and I had and I did like this. I had that last little drop. I was like, oh shit, it's still got some in there. So I put this thing up to my stupid lips. I'm like, and when I sucked in, I had been ashing my cigarette in that fucking cup. And I'm pretty sure my cigarette butt was in there too. And so I fucking basically sucked an ashtray into my mouth that day. And I fucking stood up and I ran to the fucking sink, and I was washing it out like crazy. And everybody now they were paying attention to me. And so they were all looking at me like, what the fuck? And I was like, you guys didn't see that? And they were like, no. And I was like, I just fucking drank out of the cup I'd been ashing my cigarettes in. And my mouth tasted so bad that day that I literally quit smoking cigarettes after that. And I quit for forever. That was it. That was the last cigarettes I had. I never had a cigarette again after that. And, so those two moments kind of made me I just want to talk shit to people that that weren't able to quit cigarettes. I was just be like, fucking pussy. And that's wrong, because recently off of those lozenges, I realized that fucking shit is one of the craziest addictions ever. I have So I got like dental implants, right? I know you guys love this long nicotine story. And so I got these dental implants, and I was like kind of using some nicotine, and I used it one night on like after I'd had it, like after I'd had a bottom dental implant, like 2 or 3 days after the implant, and my fucking jaw swelled up, and I had to get more antibiotics, and it calmed down. I still got the tooth, you know, I still got the implant, but the gums didn't heal right, and I'm pretty sure it was because I used nicotine, right? And so I quit again. I quit nicotine that day, and it was it wasn't that hard that time. Like I quit because I was like, okay, with my mouth, you know, I'm not fucking around with this shit. You know, I spent like over 10, 12 grand on my teeth so far, like in the last 2 years. So like, you know, I'm not wanting to fucking fuck that up. so so I quit for a few days or whatever, and then I started up again because like that addiction is fucking real. I remember sitting there thinking, well, I can't put it in my mouth. I was like, should I shove it up my ass? And like the moment that thought rolled across my head, there's like this other fucking voice came from the other side of my head and just smacked the shit out of that voice and was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And that's when I started laughing, and I was like, Jesus Christ, nicotine is fucking addictive. Holy fuck, I can't believe I just even had that thought. And so like that was pretty funny, you know, and I just quit. And then um and then I don't know what it was, you know, like you're watching Joe Rogan all the time, you know, shit like that. And these motherfuckers are always like nicotine, 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 you know, like they're probably selling nicotine, most of them. I know Tucker Carlson is, you know, but you know, you listen to Rogan, he's like, oh, I really love it. Do 6 milligrams, get you fucking feeling crazy, you know. So I'm like, oh, let me see this. And then they always want to talk about all the nootropic benefits, right? So I'm like, okay, there are studies that say that nicotine will lead you to be more creative, and that's very true. And and I watch it with some of my artists because like they'll fucking go smoke a cigarette before they do something, and it's like it's almost like a ritual because like I'll watch them go smoke a cigarette like 10 minutes before the customer comes in. The customer will come in, they just had a cigarette, they'll get everything ready, and then they'll go back out there and smoke another cigarette before they start. And so you know, and I just watch this stuff and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And so, you know, you got motherfuckers like Rogan and all these motherfuckers talking about nicotine, nicotine, Sean Ryan, nicotine, nicotine, nicotine. And so I started using it again. And I used it probably for a good 2 fucking months solid, like every day, multiple times a day. You know, I think Friday the 13th was the last day that I used it this last time. So that was like 11 days ago or something like that. And I ate a bunch of them on Friday the 13th because I was just like, we were fucking tattooing and going. And, but then that weekend, I just kind of fucking was like, I just quit. And it's like I had to battle myself in my head because I would get this thought in my head like, oh, you could just order it on Amazon. It'll be here later. You can just have one. And the other side of me is like, bitch, you know you're not going to have fucking just one, motherfucker. You know you're going to eat a bunch of these motherfuckers and you're just going to be addicted all over again. But it's just like crazy, like, because it wasn't the first 2, 3 days after, you know, it was like 4 or 5 days after I had not had nicotine anymore that my body was just like, yo, where is it? Or I would get up and look for something because I used to keep them on this table right here that this computer's on, or I'd keep them on this bookshelf over here, right? And I would like get up, find myself getting up looking for something, but not really knowing what I'm looking for. And so then I realized what I was doing. So I told, you know, my boy Trey, I was like, dude, I'm fucking like, I felt like I'm missing something. Like that's what it feels like. It feels like you're fucking missing something. Like, and not like oh, fuck that word all up. Not an integral part of you, but like a good part of you. I feel like I still fuck that word up. Anyway, the older you get, the worse your vocabulary gets. I swear to God, I'm not making fun of nobody for talking stupid anymore. Anyway, integral, right? That's the word. Chat, let me know in the comments. And so it was not like I was missing something like really important, but it's just like something felt like I was missing something. I was like, do I need to drink a kombucha? Do I need to like, you know, like, is it the lack of weed? Like, what is it? And it's like, it just kind of dawned on me, like every time I would do that, I was like, oh, it's the fucking nicotine. It's the fucking nicotine I'm looking for. And God damn it, that shit is highly addictive. It is crazy highly addictive. Yeah, like blew my mind, you know, like really did. And I don't, and I dipped also when I was younger. So I quit that. So I've quit nicotine a bunch of times in my life. But this time it gave me a lot more respect for people who have a hard time quitting. Like my boy Trey, he always talks about how he wants to quit. And then he would always make excuses. And I would just kind of be like, weak, you know? And he would be like, well, I live with my mom. They smoke inside and, shit like that. And I was like, and I mean, I get it. That's understandable. But I'd still be like weak. And, but after this time, I think I have a new appreciation for people who, get addicted to nicotine or smoke cigarettes. Like, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to fucking curb. It really is. And just because you feel like something's missing, you legit feel like something's fucking missing. Like, I'm not doing something right. Like, some of my medication is not being taken. Like, it's just it's just some sort of weird feeling. And like, I plan on using nicotine again in the future when like my kids get sick or something like that. Like, I'll just start popping them again so I don't get sick. And yeah, let's hope that works. And hopefully I won't go balls deep this time either, so I won't be too addicted. Maybe just like 1 or 2 pills a day or something, like while they're sick. But it definitely helped me out last time. I didn't get sick. And, I guess that's kind of what kind of pushed me to it was you hear about people that are smokers and they don't get colds. A lot of smokers did really well during COVID, and it was probably the nicotine that binds to your fucking receptors, right? And so that's what the idea is. Nobody knows, and I was telling my one homeboy, Barry, you guys know Barry. I was telling him that the fucking, I was telling him about how like I spend so much money on my teeth and these fucking things make my gums feel all raw and shit, and like I don't want to continue to do it. And he's like, just get a patch. I was like, well, I don't want to be addicted to anything, motherfucker. Like, I don't want something to control me like that. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, for me, it's better for me just to fucking cut it out completely, and come back to it later, and then cut it out completely, come back to it. Because I am not the type that can just be like, oh yeah, this is me now. I'm just going to put this patch on for the rest of my life. Like, no, I'm not interested in that. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's my take on fucking nicotine. And if you watched my last video, I gotta say, I am sorry I crashed out so fucking hard because I don't know what happened. I don't even remember what I talked about that day. I had the urge. I want to be more consistent. I want to get on here and just spout off my opinions into the fucking ether. And nobody's watching this shit. Like, nobody's watching this shit. It's like 5, 6 people, and so it doesn't really matter what I say. I'm not gonna get canceled by 5 or 6 people. And I don't really care about being canceled anyway because I'm not on yet, so it doesn't matter. But I crashed out pretty hard. I was just like, "Fuck this video." I think at the end, I might have to go back and watch it just to go watch it. But some days I'm just not in it, man. I'm not here. I'm not there. Today, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how today's go. We've already been going for 13 minutes, so double the time of the last one. I wanted to ask you guys also, what do you guys think about these old Tim Dillon effect? I figured I would try this because I noticed in some of my other videos, my eyeballs are just like this whole time I've been talking, I'm just looking out this window in front of me. I'm not even really looking at the camera. And so maybe with these glasses on, it'll maybe, make it look like I'm looking more at you. But I'm not looking at you, motherfuckers. And what do y'all think? Should I put them down like this? I feel weird when I have glasses touching my ears. I don't like it. I like them up. I don't know why. I don't like them off my ears. I had bought some of the Meta glasses, or I did a trade for some of the Meta glasses, and I never fucking use them or wear them because I didn't like how they felt on the side of my head. And like, I don't feel the same when I wear these. Like, I don't feel when I took the Meta glasses off, there was like I'm really sensitive to things. So like when I hold my phone up to my head, like I feel it. I feel my head. Like I feel something after holding my phone up to my head. So I don't usually hold my phone up to my head. And I, if I wear headphones, like so what are the Bose Bass? I don't know what they're called. Beats. When I wear the Beats ones, like I feel them getting warmer, and then I just feel it. And so, like, I always ask people, like, when they tell me they have some of those, I go, do you feel yours getting warm? And most people are like, no, I don't feel that shit. And I'm just like, but I think I'm just really sensitive to things like that. So when I was wearing those Meta glasses, I wore them for maybe like 10 minutes with them on. And I went on a walk and shit and took some pictures on my walk and whatever. And I, when I took the glasses off, it just felt like something was like still on me right here. And like, you can hear the music through. I probably was listening to music through them and everything. And I don't know. I'm just one of these people that's like, I don't think you're supposed to be connected to machines like that. And I don't even use I bought some of those $250 fucking Apple, whatever, Pro Pods or whatever the fuck those things are. I never fucking use them. I don't like them. I don't like how they cancel noise. I don't like that. Like, why would you like that? I don't get it. And so I don't like them. So I never fucking wear them. I like told myself I was going to wear them in the sauna just to fucking wear them out and get rid of them. And then I wore them in the sauna one time and it just felt like when I was talking about holding my phone up to my head, it's like I felt that like times 10 in the sauna because like, they're getting hot. You know what I mean? It's like putting off EMF fucking waves and shit, I'm sure. And that's what I should buy. I should buy an EMF fucking thing and measure that. Shit, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I wonder how expensive those are. But yeah, so I tend to be real sensitive with electronics. I don't like electronics. If I didn't have to have a phone, I wouldn't. But I mean, I guess like 'cause I have a business, I have to have one. I have to have social media, which I fucking hate too. But you have to have like some sort of presence. You can't just hang out now. And when I first started tattooing, you could just fucking hang out. Like I was like one of maybe 5 shops on my side of town. Now, like I don't even want to count. There's like fucking hundreds, and so that's something that like I was gonna make a video about that yesterday. It's like, but for like my social media, this is just more me like having fun playing around. And but for my social media, I was gonna make a video yesterday that was like, more geared towards young tattoo artists because like people tend to get tattoos in phases. So like somebody will start getting tattooed from you, like, and like I had this family, and like I think I saved the lady's name on my phone as so and so, mother of 12 kids, because she literally has 12 fucking kids. Their family was so big. One night I tattooed all of them. I did this little heart flower thing on each one of them, and it was about 12 of them or some shit. So I named her Lady with 12 Kids in my phone, and but I saw those people for like a good 2 or 3, 4 year period every day. Like not every day, like once a month, like I saw them a lot, and I didn't see the whole group. I would see like this little chunk of the group. And then that little chunk of the group would tell the rest, hey, I got tattooed. And then the rest of the family would be like, oh, I want to go see Jay. I want to get a tattoo. So then they would come and it was like that. So I saw this whole family just cycling through my little atmosphere for 2 or 3 years, and I really like them. I really like them a lot. I still go by one of them's a pharmacist, and I still go by her fucking pharmacy job every now and then when I'm in the area and just say hi to her. And I think her name's Emily. She's a little sweetheart, and I just like to say hi to her because like when you spend time tattooing people, you get to know them, and I haven't seen them, in like maybe a year or two. Yeah, I feel like the last time I saw him, my station was over there, and I have moved up to the front of the shop and then back over here since then. So I feel like it's been a while. And but I was just thinking about it yesterday. It's like certain people, and like my boy Jake right now, I am tattooing him like fucking crazy these last year and a half. Like he's just been getting tattoos from me. And I love it. I need it. So, like it's so meaningful to me that, like people will choose me over and over and over. Like, I love that, man. Like I fucking love it and I fucking need it. And it's like kind of an honor, and I was telling my boy last night, Jake, that, because like I've known him for like 14 years and we go through this cycle where like I'll tattoo the shit out of him for a fucking, we'll do his whole fucking sleeve and then we'll go to the next sleeve, do that whole fucking sleeve, and then we'll move to the next thing, but it's like sometimes there'll be like break in between, but he's been really consistent. And I was telling him last night, I go, you got more tattoos? Like, and he does. I got like tattoos all over this guy. And yeah, it's cool. Sometimes I wish I had more tattoos, but at the same time, like I got a lot of stupid shit when I was younger. So like, I'm not really trying to do that no more. Like I don't like silly stuff anymore. Like I don't like silly fucking tattoos. I like them on other people. I don't like to do silly tattoos, but I like them on other people. I think they're cool. You know, people are always like, "What is the craziest tattoo you've ever fucking done?" And I go, "I don't do the crazy shit. I make everybody else do the crazy shit." That is definitely the perk of being the boss. Is like when a group of fucking teenage boys come in and they all want to get Corona bottles tattooed on their butts. Like, is that's what they do? And it's always a bunch of white guys. They always want to come in and get like fucking Corona. They're like, and the last time a group came in, they were asking, they're like, "Do you think that's cool?" And I was like, "Do I think you guys getting Corona bottle tattoos on your ass? Do I think that's cool? Is that what you're asking me right now?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's fucking stupid, right?" I mean, I fucked up. I should have just been like, "Hell yeah, that's so cool, bro. Give me some skin, dude." Like, I smacked his ass. But it you know, like I should have fucking played it better because I think they didn't end up getting it, you know, but I was just being honest. You know, that's part of my fucking problem of being a tattoo artist is like I'm a little too honest sometimes. I used to tell people back in the day when they would get each other's names, they'd be like, "What do you think?" I'd be like, "Just get it small." And they'd be like, "Why small?" I'd be like, "In case something happens, motherfuckers." And like, and then sometimes they would just end up not getting it, you know what I mean? And so like I try not to fuck myself out of money anymore. I'm just like, "Yeah, all right, get that fucking, you love that motherfucker, get that motherfucker's name." Even though everyone that does tattoos or even hangs around a tattoo shop knows that is a curse. You cannot take something that is not guaranteed to be forever and make it forever by putting it in your skin. When you do that, it's almost like magic. You fucking lose it. So witnessing this my whole life, you know, like my whole tattoo career, I've been tattooing like 20 years. Witnessing this my whole fucking life, I realized that it is like, it's like the term "as above, so below," right? Like, so it's a curse, you know what I mean? Like, but it like that "as above, so below" goes with that so well, because like you can't take something that's not guaranteed to be yours and deem it to be yours by getting your name put on it or its name put on you. It doesn't work like that. It's actually the opposite. Usually you lose it. And so like when best friends get tattoos together and shit like that, I'm just like, okay. Like, and I don't tell them anything, like, you know, because like I said, I'm trying not to fuck myself out of money anymore. I just like, yeah, all right. But they almost always stop being fucking friends. And so like I've come to know this as a fact, right, in my own life. And I'm sure that one day someone's going to finally see this video. It's going to get past 16 views or some shit, and someone's going to see this video and go, "Well, I got my best friend's tattoo. We got matching tattoos, and we're still best friends for 30 fucking years." Well, you're a fucking miracle worker, and you probably had to work real hard to keep that friendship. And but it's a fucking curse. So this one time, I'm at the dentist. And I didn't even get any work done at this dentist. I just kind of got an exam, and I was actually going to get my bridges changed out. And he's like, "We're going to try to make this side match the other the best we can." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well," and I was like, "No, we're going to do all 6." And he's like, "No, we're only going to do one half." And I go, "Well, I talked to the other guy, but the other guy like ended up examining me, and then he moved to fucking Florida. So I had to go start all over." And the guy's like, "I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "No, I want all of them. I want all of them done, you know." And anyway, that's like so besides the point. But his assistant was this beautiful young lady, and I remember like she had some sort of big fucking mole somewhere, and it wasn't like it was like whoa when you saw it, but it was like she was still very beautiful. It was like crazy because it is definitely the kind of thing when you see something like that, you're like, "Wow, like what's that from Austin Powers where they're like moly like that?" Like you can't think about anything else at first. And so like I had to like power through that. But she was like beautiful when I did see her face. She was beautiful, and she was so sweet and nice. But she asked about tattoos, and I was like, you know, and I'm not really the type that's like, "Yeah, come see me. Like, you know, I just live my life. And if people ask me about it, then yeah, all right, you know, like I'm gonna tell you I'm a tattoo artist." And so she asked, and I told her, and she was like, "I only have one tattoo." And I said, "Oh yeah?" And she said, "Yeah, it's a matching tattoo I got with my best friend." And I go, and like me knowing everything I just told you guys about this being a curse, I go, "Are you still friends with that person?" And she goes, "No." And I go, oh man, what happened? And I go, it's a curse. And she's like, it's a curse. And I go, yeah, like if you get matching tattoos with someone, usually you stop being friends. And I was like, well, what happened? And she goes, died. I was like, fuck, you got the real curse, dude. Like that's the brutal one. I was just like, that was probably one of those moments where I wanted to be like, holy fuck, and just ponder it for a while. But I couldn't because I was in the middle of that conversation with her. And, I didn't want to make her feel like she was at fault for that. But in my head, I'm just kind of like, you might be a little bit at fault for that. But they don't know any better, right? But I was just like, oh my God, that's the real curse right there. If you can fucking do that, like, holy shit. So yeah, I think I'm starting to wind down though on what I have to talk about today. Yeah, I guess I could talk a little bit more about like some tattoo shit, because I have been thinking a lot about, my career, and I've been doing this a long time, and I have like no big influence in the industry. I'm like a nobody, like in tattooing. I've just had my shop for like 20 years. And so, and like, there's a piece of me in my mind that's like, bitch, you're a legend. Cause like that is legend shit in the tattoo business. Most tattoo shops don't last that long. For multiple reasons. Tattoo artists tend to be fucking absolutely dog shit crazy. A lot of them are just living. Fucking know, because I've talked about this dumb fuck. But like, he's this guy. He wanted a job with me. He wanted a fucking job with me. But every fucking time he came into my business, to like see one of his friends that was an artist of mine, he would like go on these rants and like tell me how fucked up of a person he is. He like fucked his brother's wife, and like, like he just fucking burned every bridge. He was living in someone's garage, living in the person he would come see. He was living in their garage. And, it's just like a guy. And then he told me about this one shop. He worked for this one guy who was an alcoholic. And, he would just tell the guy to go fucking home because he's running off business, And he said the guy came over to his house one day and they were talking, and he was real drunk. The guy's like an alcoholic. And he's like, he said something smart to me. So I knocked him out. And I'm just like sitting here looking at him like, what the fuck? Like, like, number one, I'm not going to be drunk, and I'm not going to be over at their house, like hanging out, like, unless like we're all out there hanging out, or unless they like, I don't know, like, I'm just not like, I love the people that work with me, but we hang out, like we'll go out to a dinner or we hang out at work every fucking day. So it's like, we don't really hang out with each other outside of work, because we see each other all the fucking time, and so then when we're away from work, it's like we kind of just want to be ourselves, like, and honestly, I wouldn't mind if those motherfuckers came over to my house a lot, like, because I love company, and I love my whole family died. So like, I have no family besides my fucking wife and my 2 kids, and we're starting to try to make another one. I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, but she wants the 3rd one, and I'm just like, it'll be my 4th one, and I'm already at the point where I've procreated. For me, I've made a replacement for her, and then we got an extra one, right? That's me, but she wants that now, and I get that, because and from her point, it's like we've made a replacement for me and a replacement for her, but we have added nothing to the pile of humanity. And so like, like, I like being a procreator. I want to, if I could, if I was Elon Musk, I'd be putting in babies in everybody too, but I wouldn't be doing it that gay way. Like, what's he doing? He's like getting them all infertilized, or IVN or INV or whatever the fuck it is, IVF. And I want to do it the old fashioned way. If I was a billionaire, I'd be banging. I'd put a baby in you. I put a baby in you. I put a baby in you. You, all of them. I would try. I would just, I don't know. There's just something about it. There's just something about putting yourself out into the fucking atmosphere like a billion times. And it's funny because they say if you have like multiple boys, apparently, like if you have like, let's say you have 5 boys, the chances that like 1 or 2 of those kids are going to be gay is like very high. And so like, I'm like, and I only make boys. I'm pretty positive I only make boys. She definitely wants a girl, but we're not trying for a girl. That's like, okay, if we're going to try for anything, we're gonna try for a blue-eyed baby. That's all I want is a blue-eyed baby because I've got ice blue eyes, and I don't know. It'd be cool to see one of my kids have ice blue eyes. They all have green eyes though, and I think it's because I'm attracted to girls with brown eyes. I don't know why. I guess maybe because I know how hard it is to look in my eyes because they're fucking crazy looking. And so yeah, what was my point here? Oh yeah, and so like I'm probably gonna make another boy, and I'm good with that. But I think maybe the gay one came out with my very first one because he's a fucking little weirdo, dude. He is like 6'2". I don't really talk about this shit, but I'm getting more to the point where I'm getting more open about it, right? And I think he did change his name. So I'd be dead naming him if I called him Giovanni, which is his fucking name is Giovanni. And so I'll dead name him because he is basically dead. The little boy that I raised and that I knew is no longer, he no longer exists. Now it is some sort of a 6'2" backpack, always with a little weird furry backpack, wearing sweaters. He was always fucking covering his body up. He had a horrible body growing up. And so I'm sure it's still horrible, which is like kind of a weird because like I'm like super fit and like I eat a certain way. And like none of my kids have taken up after me when it comes to the way I eat, like, and I'm sure as a child, like it's hard, and I tried not to give my kids anything nasty, but like candy and, fucking shit like that, but it just makes them want it more. And so like I've kind of like my 6-year-old and my 3-year-old, I've kind of let them have more of that shit than I did my oldest one. But I let him just try things. I'd be like, oh, you like this cinnamon roll? I'd take him to the mall. He'd eat a fucking Cinnabon and I would eat nothing. And I would just watch him get fat basically. So like, I'm sure he has all kind of issues with me now that I think about it. But when he lived with me, he was a normal kid. And I was a very strict parent. I was too strict, to be honest. I was more self-involved, worried about me, my business. I spent a lot of time at my business, especially when he was young. I would kind of pawn him off on my mother and I would spend time with him, but I didn't give him what he really needed. And sometimes it doesn't quite just eat me alive, but it definitely gets to me sometimes, like, and so I'll talk more about how it gets to me in a second, but let me continue with his description. And so he lived with me. He was a normal kid, normal. I mean, I definitely like had inkling something different about him. He was just so sensitive. He was very sensitive. And I was just not a good dad to him. I was not a good dad. I was too strict. I didn't listen enough. I didn't involve myself with him. I honestly was just worried about my own shit. A lot of his childhood, I was just trying to get pussy. I was trying to figure out my own self. And, like I never really thought about, like my dad was never there. And I never thought about what it would be like if the mother was never there. I just assumed mothers didn't do shit like that because my mother would have never done something like that. And so I assumed that wouldn't be the case ever. And one day I walked into his room and he was crying and I was like, what's wrong with you? And he was like, and I'm kind of tough. Like, so I'm like, what's wrong with you, motherfucker? Like, what are you doing? And he's like, I miss my mom. And I was like, fuck, because that thought had never crossed my mind. I knew what it was like to not have a dad and to feel that way. And I was like, I'm gonna fix this. I'm going to be there for him. I'm not going to let that happen to him. And I let it happen to him, but through his mother. And like, it is something that will forever baffle me. And I just know that a piece of me was too young to like figure things out. I was too wild. She was too wild. We were really young. And, I just thought you could raise a kid by yourself. I really did. And now I don't feel that way. I don't think you can raise a child all by yourself. I'm sure you're doing it. Sure. Don't get mad at me. Don't come for me. I'm sure there's lots of people that do it very well. But I think there's something special about raising your kids together with someone. And like me and my oldest son's mom, it just was not going to work out like that. We constantly cheated on each other. And then like we would break up, cheat on each other. Like, I mean, or we wouldn't even break up. We would just cheat on each other, and then we would make up, and the making up would be so intense and so powerful that we were like, oh. And then like we were just like caught in this eternal loop. And I knew that it was going to last forever, or I was going to end up killing that bitch. He was going to kill me, or something wild was going to happen. And so like I had to get away from that relationship. And I never thought that things would end up the way they did. And so he lived with me till he was about 16. When he turned 16, you know, like I caught him trying to run away a few times because I was just so strict. I was starting a new life with a new girlfriend. I think my wife now, and we had a baby. And, you know, I caught him trying to run away one night, and I was like, hey, what are you doing? And like, I didn't even get mad at him. And I was just like, hey, if you don't want to be here, like, that's fine. Like, I get it. Cause I was 15, you know what I mean? I understand better than, you know, he probably thought I did. And so like, I let him go. Like, I was like, it was right when the pandemic started and he was trying to run away. And I was like, dude, you're going to get everything fucked up. You're going to end up in some place you don't want to be, you know, just because you don't like me or you don't want to be around me. And that's fine. You know, like I get it. Like I get it because I hated my parents when I was young. I get it. They were so strict too. I get it. And so he moved in with his mom, and I literally never heard from him again. It's like, he's 21 now. He moved out when he was 16. I never fucking heard from him again. And that's why I say now, like that kid's gone. He's not there anymore. He's 6'2", wears little furry backpacks and shit, little backpacks that are like girl bag. They're fucking for girls. And he has long hair that's pink. It's like down to here. Stays with a girlfriend. He never has a boyfriend. He has a girlfriend all the fucking time, right? Like always a girlfriend, never a boyfriend, you know? So like, but he says, you're just like, say what? But you only have girlfriends. But so like what, you're like a lesbian trapped in a boy's body. And I don't know. I'm just like, dude, I like lesbian porn too. When I watch porn, like I like that too. Like I get it. I fucking get it. But it doesn't mean you're a girl inside. Like, you know, especially when you're 6'2" and you're fucking big, you know, you only fuck with girls. Like, you're not trans. You're just fucking crazy. So anytime, but I reach out to him every now and then. And like, anytime I do get a response from him, it's usually like, you're fucking dead to me, you know, all that shit. And I was just like, okay. I think the last time I just told him I loved him, I missed him. That's all I said to him. And he went and screenshotted a bunch of shit from my Facebook and was like, you've changed, huh? And I was like, the fuck are you talking about? I was like, I never said I changed. I was like, and I think what he screenshotted was, I'll break you to make you, is what I quoted a long time ago. And then I just reshared it because I was like, that's a good quote. Solid fucking quote. It's like, I learned that shit from military school. You must be broken down of all those shitty habits to fucking be built up in a new way. Like, you must be broken down. And so like, you know, like that's just something that works for me in my life. And I get it. It's not necessarily going to work for everybody. And that was definitely a mistake I made with him, you know, because I tried to break him of some of his stupid habits and shit. And he just was not receptive to that. He was just so sensitive. And when I think back onto it, I just think about, because his mom wasn't there. And then I was like, you know, the thing that gets important when you're raising a kid with somebody is that like, when you get frustrated, that other person can step in and not be fucking frustrated. You know what I mean? And like, so that's important. Like, I didn't have that. And so when I would be frustrated with him, it just would keep going. It became rage. And I would just keep going and keep going. And nothing would cool me down. I had no one to balance me out. And my girlfriend at the time, you know, she was new to my life, and she's like, she didn't want to step in on my toes, you know, and like get yelled at. Like, you know, she didn't want to fucking get a new asshole ripped in her because she wanted to stop me from being the way I was being, you know? And it's like, part of me wishes she would have, but she's probably fucking right. I probably wouldn't have taken that very well. I probably would have been like, the fuck, that's my son, blah, blah, blah. You know, so like things went the way they were supposed to go, I think. You know, like I'm not one that believes in regretting anything. You know, like when I talk to people about my mother dying and like how like it kind of haunts me to some extent that I didn't take her out to lunch and do things more with her. We lived together and we didn't get along after my dad died. And part of it was because I was like, hey, you got to fucking move on with your life. Like, I'm here, your grandkids here, like I want to start a new family with this girl, and I should have been, I waited too long to like have those kind of conversations with her and be like that. It was like, she was almost on death's door when I realized what was happening. When I realized that she wasn't going to be around too much longer, it was probably too late, And so I have like a lot of guilt, and the way that I deal with that guilt is the guilt's there. And I feel that way when I talk about it, but it's like, I know that things went the way they were supposed to go. If they were meant to go some other fucking way, they would have fucking gone some other fucking way, but they didn't. They went the way they were supposed to go. So I can't be like regretful or in sorrow for the rest of my life because I didn't take my mom out to lunch a few times when I fucking should have. I 100% should have. I should have been there more for her, but I just wasn't. And there is nothing I or anybody else can do about that, It's just the way it went. And so I feel the same thing with my son, like it just went the way it went, and there's nothing I can change about it. I can be regretful and sorry and learn from my mistakes, but I can't change the way things went, and it will do me no favors to beat myself up about it. Like I tried the best I could, and like now I'm at this weird point where like his grandmother lives across the street from me. So one day I get out of my car, and if you know me, I have this big, huge wrap truck, right? And so like it's big. And so like I would start walking inside with my kid and with my 3-year-old. And like, we're getting stuff out of the car too. So, but I see the car pull up and I know that's my oldest son's girlfriend's car. And I don't know what kind of car it is, but it's just a little fucking Hyundai piece of shit thing, SUV thing. Like I just know that car. I know I've seen him get out of it before. So I hear the car pull up. I look over there, nobody gets out. And so I'm like, okay, and I don't really think about it too much. I know it's him and I know he doesn't want to see me. So like, I don't pry as bad as I want to just run over there and be like, hey, when are you going to stop torturing me? Like I just want to hear his voice. I just want to hug him. Like I don't want to necessarily bring him back into my life. I don't want to be his dad. Like, I mean, I'll always be his dad in some way, but I'm like at no point in my life where I can tell him what to do. He's 21, but like I still miss him and I still have these fears of him killing himself and shit. And that me never have getting to like fix it, or like that's definitely a fear I have. Anyway, so like I get so sidetracked. So anyway, so like me and my kid get all the shit out of the car and we start walking inside, and then like I can't see that car anymore because now I'm on the other side of my big truck, right? And I'm walking to my front door, and it's like the way it's parked, I can't see the house at all. So I hear the car doors open and close, and so I fucking like I walk back from my door. I had my key and I was about to get in the door, and I was like, no, I want to see him. So I walk back, down to the sidewalk, and I just watched him walk in to his grandma's house. And I was kind of like hoping maybe he had like changed a little bit and like, like enough with the fucking little backpack, enough with the pink hair, like he could be a beautiful man if he wanted to be, like he's fucking strong. Like his mom had amazing genetics. Like I'd never seen an ass this big in my life, like she had these massive legs. And I just remember being like, damn, I want some legs like that. And so like I wanted to have a baby with this bitch just because of her fucking genetics. And sometimes that led me to another thought one day. I was like, maybe if you make a baby with a girl with a huge ass, her estrogen levels just overpower your testosterone. You get a fucking weirdo little baby like we did. I don't know. And I don't know. But I miss him deeply. And I am afraid that one day he will do something to himself and I'll never get to see him again. And that's just going to be a burden I live with, right? Part of me is like, I don't think it'll go that way, but there's another part of me that's like, it might, he's a strong kid. So like, I may never see him again. Everybody's like, oh, you'll see him again. But I don't really fucking know that, and neither does anyone else. And it's just a feeling I have that I have a feeling I will never get to see him again. And I don't know that I'd really want him around my kids now, if like that's how he is, you know, like, because I'm trying to raise like strong masculine boys. So, you know, I'm not really trying to raise soft little babies, you know, even though I spoil the shit out of them. They're kind of soft anyway. But yeah, so I don't know. Didn't really plan on talking about that in this podcast, but that came up. We did it. And yeah, what time is it? It's 3:07. So, you know, I've been going at this for like 45 minutes. I was going to stop at 30 minutes. Part of me want to stop at 20 minutes. So, you know, you got a little bonus J today. But I'm going to go draw and do shit around the tattoo shop before Izzo gets here and just talks my fucking brains out. But yeah, if you made it this fucking far in the video, I just want you to know I fucking love you so much. If you could comment, like, subscribe, share, whatever the fuck you want to do, it would mean the world to me. Like, I make these little stupid social media videos for my tattoo shop, and people like come in that and I don't recognize them, but they recognize me, you know, because I make these videos, and they are like, they'll always tell me I like your videos, and I'm like, oh shit, like it always makes me feel good, you know. And I don't know what video they're talking about because I don't usually make them that often, but I make them, you know. And anytime they tell me that, it's just like, oh, thanks, dude. Like, that means a lot, because, you know, like, you feel stupid when you're in front of a fucking camera. You're like, you get all self-conscious. And I think that's a big part of like why I really appreciated Barry, is because like Barry's a shy guy. He's very self-conscious. And, you know, I'm not really that self-conscious. I don't really give a fuck what people think about me. But, you know, like, I don't want my whole life to go to shit over something crazy I said. But at the same time, I'm just like, fuck it. Like, you know, nothing's going to happen to me. So I just put myself out there. And I kind of like sharing, you know, like these vulnerable moments. All right. So I'm going to share one more. And this is going to be my last fucking pull at your heartstrings fucking conversation. We're not gonna do this anymore today. Maybe next week when I'm feeling it, but today we're not gonna do this anymore. And so since I've talked so much about my oldest son, which I don't normally do, it's kind of embarrassing for a long time, really. But, you know, I just kind of have come to the terms with the kid I know is dead, and the thing that exists now is I don't know what that is. And you know, I don't know who he is. You know, he just, like I said, he tells me every fucking time he tells me the same thing. He's like, you're dead to me. And so, like, eventually I'm just like, okay, well, I guess you're fucking dead to me too then, because you're obviously not the same person, you know? And well, I guess when I heard Elon Musk talking about dead naming and all that shit, and I was just like, yeah, okay, finally somebody feels the way I feel. Like, you know, like, that's how I fucking felt about it. Like, they are dead to you. Like, you know, that kid that you knew is gone, man. He's fucking gone. He's never coming back. You know, like, he totally could. He could if he wanted to, but he's just not. He's not coming back. And so this one night, it happens often. It's not super often, but like every 3 or 4 months, this happens to me. I'll see somebody in the tattoo shop, and because I don't really know what my son looks like that often, you know what I mean? I got that glimpse of him going into his grandma's house the other day. But before that, it had been like 2 or 3 years since I'd seen him. So, and like, I don't see him. I just see him walking across the yard. I never actually get to see him or talk to him. And I don't really know what to say. Part of me feels very guilty. And I don't know. I don't like rejection. So I don't want to run over there and be like, hey, please. You know, and then he just tells me no, and I'm like, all right, man. You know, like, I don't want to put myself through that. And maybe that's part of my problem. Maybe I need to put myself through that. But anyway, so what happens to me every 3 to 4 months is somebody will come into my tattoo shop, and because I don't know what he looks like, I'll just be looking at them, and I'll be like, you know, like, and like, I know it's not my son. Like, I know it's not, because he wouldn't come here. Like, I don't think he would come here and get a tattoo and just like pretend like he didn't know me, you know, but like, I'll just get this fucking idea or this thought and I'll think to myself, is that my son? And then I'll catch myself just staring at the customer, just trying to figure it out. And I remember like the day I posted this on Instagram, I was like, you guys want to hear a sad story? And so I just posted this on my Instagram stories, for my tattoo shop, because I like to share. I like to share my vulnerability. I guess I'm secure with who the fuck I am. So it doesn't matter to me if you see me as being a pussy one moment, because we all have moments where we're a fucking pussy. So anyway, so like I just like, you guys want to hear something sad? And I was like, there's somebody in the tattoo shop right now. And like, I haven't seen my son in so long that I'm like, I know that's not my son, but there's this other piece of me that's like, is that my son? And it's like, it's fucking heartbreaking. It's fucking heartbreaking for me because like, I miss him. I miss him so much. That was my guy. It was me and him, and fuck everybody else. It was just me and him for the longest time. I wouldn't let women in my life. I wouldn't let anyone close to me, because I just wanted it to be just me and him. And he lived in Alaska for like the first 3 years of his life, and I was absolutely miserable. Absolutely fucking miserable. I have never been that miserable in my entire fucking life. And, like sometimes like I have to really fight hard not to go back into that miserableness, because like at the time when he lived in Alaska, I wanted nothing but him. I would buy toys for him just so in case one day, I thought I was never going to get to meet him. I really did. I thought that I was going to die before I ever got the chance to meet him. And so I'm very got to meet him and got to spend time with him. And I got to see him like right before he turned 4 was when he came back to Texas. And so I had been buying shit for him all the time, though. I had my whole closet was full of toys. So the first weekend that I took him home with me, his mom was like, he can just go with you, kind of a crackhead. So she was like, yeah, just take him. And and he just went with me like it was nothing. And it was so smooth and flawless. Like, it wasn't like, I thought he wasn't going to know me, but it's like he knew me. And so that first weekend I had him, I took him over to my mom's house because I didn't live there, but that's where I kept all my shit. Like that was my home base in my life. And so I took him to my mom's house and we went to that closet, and it was like 4 years worth of fucking presents in there. And it's funny because like now I'm back at that same place in my life. I'm not buying him presents or anything, but I'm back in that same place where I just miss him. And like, I doubt I'll ever see him again. And so maybe like if I keep that same energy, the same thing will happen again and I will see him, I don't know. But I love him and I miss him. And even if he is a little fucking weirdo, he's my weirdo. I don't know. I hope one day he snaps out of whatever the fuck he's in. Because you're not born into the wrong body. I'm sorry, you're not. You're not born into the wrong body. You can feel however the fuck you want to feel. You can be as feminine as you want to be. You can be as gay or whatever, bi, whatever the fuck you want to be. But you are perfect like you are in this life. You don't need to try to impersonate a woman or impersonate a man to be valuable. Like it's very like disheartening when you're young, because you're just like, you see the world around you and you're like, everybody else looks happy and you're fucking miserable. And it's like, honestly, it's just because you're young. It's just because you're young, you're miserable. And as you get older, you start to fucking get smarter. You acquire more resources. Like, your life gets better as you get older and you find who you are. I don't think I really found who the fuck I was. I mean, I thought I went to prison really young. So like, I kind of like, I knew I was a man and I knew like what I was capable of. I knew how I could handle myself around strangers. Like, I knew because I had got thrown into a lion's den and I made it out without being fucking touched, without being harmed. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I got in a few fights, but for the most part, I was on the up and up side. I think I lost one to this little midget, and like that was so fucking humbling. So humbling. And part of me wants to make excuses and tell you why he won, but it doesn't really matter. I let off of him. That's why, because I was beating the shit out of him, and I let him stand up. And when I let him stand up, he jumped at me and there was a stool that was right there at my knee, and he tumbled me over because he jumped at me. And so anyway, excuse. But I made it through all that, but I still didn't feel like a man until I was like well into my 30s. I'm 44 now and like well into my fucking 30s. So, if you're young and you're watching this shit, you're a young tattoo artist, just keep your fucking hope, man. Keep your faith. Everything is going to be great. Even if you're not a tattoo artist, it doesn't matter. If you're young in general, just keep your fucking hope. Don't ever let it slip. Because when you let it slip, it will slip away from you and you'll have to fight twice as hard back. And, so just don't give up, man. Don't give up. I know that shit's fucking rough out there, but don't fucking give up. There's so much, I guess, because I had moments like that where I'd be like, fuck, I should just end this shit, when I was way younger. And I just always knew that if I did that, I don't get to see the fucking end of the game. I don't get to see the finish line. And I want to know what happens. I want to see the end of this movie. I don't want to just fucking stop the movie before it's over. I want to see the ending. What happens to this guy named Jay Leno from Late Night Tattoos? What happens to him? Does his life get worse? Does it get better? What happens? It's a fucking mystery, but it's up to you to control the mystery. So, all right. That was even longer than I fucking said. So we're done. We're out of here. Hope you guys have a great fucking Tuesday. Love you. Good fucking bye.